Hello and welcome to this week's podcast.
Yep, we got a special for you tonight. We got an interview with one of Doug's ex-army mates. And here it is.
We've got a very, very special guest for the podcast this evening. An old mate of mine from my army days, Mr. Paul Norley.
There you go. Welcome, Paul.
No, good evening.
You've got me, Richard, and Steve.
Yeah, good evening.
So the first thing I'm a bit confused.
Excellent.
The first thing I'm a bit confused about. Doug said a mate. Were you friends?
We were indeed.
Oh, wow.
We shared a room for a good few years.
We
Wow.
did.
Sort of ran around the world together, really.
Oh well, we'll get some dirt on him then, yeah.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
Right.
I've got plenty.
Oh, great stuff. So I'll pass you over to Doug because he's got a ton of questions for you.
Okay then, Paul. I think I'll just start off with how did it start for you, brass band wise? You know, how did you start to learn playing and?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing when I was 8. One of those incredibly lucky accidents and coincidences, really. My best friend at school, who I sat next to in primary school, he was learning trombone because his dad played with a local brass band.
A proper instrument.
Band in Devon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 6 months later, he gave up. And I just kept going, I think primarily because my mum was glad to get me out of the house. It was a great grounding in music. It was free of charge, surrounded by some great people. At the time, the band had a learners group of about 20 young people. Many are still playing now. And there's a couple like myself who have built their whole careers and lives around it. What I quickly discovered was that I loved the edginess of brass band contests. And also, of course, back then, one ticket, it allowed you to listen to the championship section bands on the day. And I got hooked, really.
What was your instrument of torture to start with then, Paul?
Well, I think like a lot of people, I started off on cornet.
Hey, good man. I knew you were good when I first heard you.
I reached the sort of dizzy heights of bumper up third cornet.
Don't knock it.
And that's a great, and it's a great seat. Sitting on the back row of a brass band, you've got that mix of youthful enthusiasm and then the older generation with their cynical experience. And it's a real powerful mix. That said, within a few years, it sort of became clear that my chops were more suited to Henna Horn.
You're going downhill now.
On second, progressed to solo. And again, the horn section, a great section within a brass band, literally central, harmonically complete, and you get some great melodic lines. That said, I then joined the army at 16.
Wow.
And there was always a shortage of woodwind players back there, so I changed to clarinet and spent 2 intense years learning clarinet and saxophone, as that was the expectation at the time.
Right.
I must admit, Paul, I always wondered how you'd gone in that direction, with the clarinet. But you were a very good player, having said that.
Well, it's hard to imagine now. Of course, at that time, there weren't any females in army bands, apart from in one band. So there was always a shortage of woodwind. So we often found that our woodwind players had retraded from being brass band people.
I heard Doug used to put skirts on a lot of times.
Indeed.
That was only at the weekends, that was.
Yes, I remember that party, indeed.
I remember the toga once, Paul, in the band room.
Indeed. That's right, made from pillowcases, if I remember right.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you there. So you were saying about...
No, not at all. No. But of course, then later on, when I attended the bandmaster course at Mellor Hall, being able to play the brass as well was really useful because at the time, part of that 3-year course, you had to learn all the instruments within a wind band to a certain standard. And that is such a useful tool to have as a conductor. it informs your expectations of players and your knowledge of the art of the possible for what players can do. It's one of my sort of pet issues is a conductor who expects the impossible of a player because he doesn't understand the instrument. And of course, it's also useful if you're doing any arranging or composing.
Yeah, it's a fantastic grounding, that, isn't it? What a great idea. Again, I know they've done it for years, but forward thinking really there, so that you, as you said, you can cover, and understand, the limitations really, as you said, of not just the players but the instruments as well.
Well, interestingly,
exactly that.
Interestingly,
we all know technically what the written range of an instrument is, but until you've actually played it, you don't actually realise what the real range is. Yeah. And of course, certainly with the brass band instruments, especially things like soprano cornets, cornet, tenor horns, there's certain notes that you've really got to struggle to keep in tune or keep your tone quality on. A's above the stave are notorious for brass band instruments. They're incredibly difficult to keep in tune. D's and C sharps below the stave for back row cornets, they're written all the time, but they're not easy notes to keep in tune. It takes a good player.
Even a good tenor trombone player, Paul, the A is a hard note to pitch. You've obviously got to sharpen it by miles, and...
Oh, yeah. And it's useful to be aware of that.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you then, so brass or woodwind, what's your favourite? Put you on the spot there, haven't I?
No, not at all. I mean, if I'm honest, I've always enjoyed the brass more. I enjoy playing saxophone in a big band. I love playing clarinet in a Dixie band. But I think, my heart has always been with brass instruments. It's I like the sound, and I certainly a preferred sound to listen to for me is either a brass band or a full symphony orchestra. Other things just sort of sit in between and lack the breadth and quality for me.
Well, you were talking before about equipping yourself with the knowledge of like woodwind instruments and stuff in orchestras and stuff. We had Russell Gray on, and he was talking when he was talking about conducting. He said when he went to conduct an orchestra, it was completely different, and he uses all that grounding now to help with his brass banding. So I suppose it's similar to what you just said,
Yeah, I mean the scary things with orchestras is the way that the stringed instruments produce their sound. If you're used to bringing the baton down, and you've got a good quality brass band right on the end of the baton that produces their note right on the ictus of the beat. Of course, string instruments don't do that.
No, of course, because they're drawn across, aren't they? Yeah.
Indeed, you bring the baton down and you just get that second of almost nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's scary.
I've never thought about it that way, but yeah, now you come to...
Surely it can't be as bad as bagpipes, though, Paul. We had a bit of experience of them in the military, didn't we?
We did indeed.
The 4th Royal Tank Regiment.
Indeed, and we've already talked about tuning. I mean, that's an incredibly painful process that can be with bagpipes.
Definitely.
Again, though, years later, when I was director of music of the Royal Irish Regiment, I had some phenomenal pipers in the Royal Irish Regiment. The World Championship pipers at the time. I mean, they always used to win the piping championships up in Scotland. And a really, really good bagpiper can get everything in tune and, sounding absolutely phenomenal. But I suppose at the end of the day, they're battlefield instruments. That's what they were designed for. They've got a charm all of their own, certainly. And if you remember, incredibly popular in Germany. The German population just loved listening to bagpipes and all things Scottish, really.
Yeah, and I think in Canada as well, Paul, we were out there for a spell, weren't we? And they had the championships there. And
exactly that, yeah. I mean, I assume that's because there's a large amount of the population in Canada can probably trace their ancestry back to either Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah.
I would imagine. But you're right. Huge bands, very well manned, and quite impressive, if I remember rightly, on the Stampedes that we used to play at.
Yeah,
Absolutely
definitely.
superb.
It's definitely it's a Marmite instrument, I think, isn't it? I think people either love it or they hate it. There doesn't seem to be anything in between.
There is, and I think what it suffers from is very much similar that all musical ensembles and genres suffer from. For a long time, wasn't it? All people wanted to hear brass bands play was the floral dance, and it got a bit tedious after the 1000th playing. And I think it's the same for pipes. Initially with Amazing Grace, and then of course Highland Cathedral.
Yeah.
We just wanted to move on and do other stuff. But there's a reason why certain pieces and songs are really popular, isn't there?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, if I can take you back to your army days, how long were you in the army then? I suppose from 16 you joined, did you?
Yeah, I actually served 39 years
Wow.
in the end.
Wow.
It worked out very well for me. I commissioned to become a director of music, and I finally finished up, at the top of the tree in London as director of music of the Coldstream Guards. A great place to be. It certainly teaches you not to be nervous on a public platform.
Yeah, I bet.
You must have enjoyed it, doing it for that long then, I would imagine.
Yes. I put my hand on my heart, I think, and I'd go back and say, apart from some trivial incidences, I wouldn't change a thing. I would do it all again.
But I suppose that's life, really, isn't it? You have your ups and downs, don't you, in any job, any walk of life, really?
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. It can be all peaks and troughs on occasion, but in the main, I wouldn't have stayed if I hadn't enjoyed myself so much.
So, when did you meet Doug? Or when did Doug meet you?
Well, I'll help with that because it would have been the 1980s, and I remember getting to the barracks, Toffreck Barracks in Hildesheim, West Germany, and expecting, of course, to meet the band, the 1st Royal Tank Regiment. But I was then told, no, they're away in Hong Kong doing concerts. And of course, I thought, well, flipping heck, I've missed a blooming cracker there. So I had to work in the medical room for a week, and I was also asked to go to the HQ squadron block and clean the windows in the colonel's office, So I don't know whether he wanted to keep an eye on me, and he must have thought, who the hell's this? As you just walked in off the street or something, But no, at least after a week, you'd come back. And I've got to say, Paul, I think you were definitely one of the first people that I met, and you were. All I can say is how helpful you were, and you were already an experienced member of the band, and I was glad really that you were one of the first people I met because you really did help me, and I do thank you for that.
No, not at all. I mean, we had some good times, didn't we? Yeah, I do remember that. So sort of back in the day in the army then, you're quite right. If there was nothing else to do, there was always something that could be cleaned or polished or painted.
That's it.
That's how we kept ourselves occupied. But yes, I remember you were there when we got back. But I mean, that was, well, you remember yourself, that was the existence then for a band in Germany. I mean, you were rarely on camp for more than a few days at a time. And then you were away, it was all around Germany, wasn't it? Sort of Belgium, Holland.
It was incredible, Denmark, wasn't it? And even at the weekends, the officers would have an officers' mess or whatever, and we'd have to go and play on a Saturday evening for them while they were eating and all that, So yeah, they did keep us busy. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. But with hindsight, what a great grounding that was, because, in effect, you were performing a concert a week with new repertoire and new pieces on minimal rehearsal, so we certainly learned how to sight read, didn't we?
Oh, definitely, and it's something actually in the brass band that I play for now, Royal Buckley. The conductor does say every once in a while he'll put something new on the stand, and I get quite near it, So I think he does. Yeah. He does rate my sight reading. I will say that,
Well, I mean,
it's that sort of thing that's underrated now. Look in the back of the library at all the old yellow music. The arrangements of the overtures, and they take some reading and some playing.
Well, they do.
We the three of us grew up on overtures and stuff, Paul. So when we grew up together in Flint Town band, we cut our teeth on stuff like that. Yeah. It's always been.
And of course, it's good quality music, and it teaches you how to shape a phrase, and that sort of thing, which is so important. So important.
So you never held it against Doug, the fact that you played a random noise generator then?
No, not at all. I think in actual fact, back then we had a good trombone section then.
It was.
Paul, don't do it, please don't.
Well, with the exception of Doug.
That's what I like to
well done. Yes.
Thank you for that, Paul.
Yes. At last.
Yeah.
No, it was a good trombone section. I mean the guy that was there on principal when Doug arrived. John. Basically, when he got to 18, he had two choices: he either join Brighouse or join an army band. And he elected to join an army band because he thought the wage would be more regular. So, he was of that standard. And of course, Doug himself came from a championship section brass band. It was a good section. It was a good section.
Yeah, it was, definitely.
But, Doug got away with not having to play any other instrument, didn't he? Because he could play bass trombone as well, I suppose.
But we had a few lessons on violin, I seem to remember. We went into Hildesheim, and there was a lady there that liked to bend your arm, shall we say.
Oh, she was brutal, wasn't she?
She was.
She was absolutely brutal.
I think she thought we were all 6 years old and very pliable, because she wouldn't let you get away with the arm,
If you remember that concert we helped them out with that time, wasn't it? Everyone else was 6 years old. And I think I've still got the newspaper cutting. Someone took a photo of me pointing at this violin music, and I was asking the 6-year-old next to me how to do it. And the caption they put under it in the newspaper was a British Army musician helping out the local children.
Little did they know, eh? It was the other way round. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, great stuff.
I felt guilty about that for a good few weeks. I think I've still got it somewhere in one of the scrapbooks. I've not seen it for a few years.
So, going just a bit more about your army days, really. So, throughout the time you obviously progressed and got to the dizzy heights of was it major? Was it? Oh.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose you're in a different ball game then, aren't you? I suppose.
Yeah, it's a gig is a gig. A concert is a concert. A parade is a parade. They're all the same, really. It's just the consequences of making a mistake. I suppose you could liken it. It's the it's a difference between splitting a note at the finals in the Albert Hall and splitting a note in your local village hall on a Friday evening. It's the same thing, but it's just the consequences.
Just the pressure's a bit higher, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But I suppose it's almost. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, I'll say, and certainly if you're in London doing the state and ceremonial, nobody expects that to go wrong.
Right.
The thought of, say, Remembrance Day going wrong at the Cenotaph.
Oh, no,
or, the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, that is just not expected to go wrong.
So sleepless nights then.
So it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have to, you know, you see him at the Remembrance and they're absolutely brilliant, aren't they? They really are.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that we're still the best in the world at as
absolutely.
well.
Absolutely. Nobody.
You know,
that's one good thing we're still good at, isn't it?
Long may it continue as well.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
So I suppose from there, when you came out the army, did you get back into banding, or because I noticed are you president of the marching band association or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things I do really. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I played seriously initially for just a few brass bands. You know, lots of depping and helping out. I was always happy with my place in Totnes Band before I joined the army. Then the first 9 years of my career was spent in Germany, so there was, you know, pretty much no opportunity to play for any other brass bands. Although I'm sure Doug remembers this, we did have some great times with a local fire brigade band in Germany.
It was,
made some very, very good friends there.
It was the Feuerwehr band, wasn't it? And was it Sarstedt? Sarstedt.
Yeah, Sarstedt and Dingelber, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Looking at a band bands there that have special contraptions that clip onto their music stands to take 2 glasses of beer. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, that was how they rehearsed.
I still have that on my solo trombone stand in the band room, Paul, you know. No, not really.
Did when Doug was playing, he's panicking now. What I'm going to ask you, but did he always continue after the conductor stopped conducting? So you were playing a piece, and then you come to it, and the conductor'd stop. Did he continue for a couple of bars? Did he ever do that, or do you think?
I think that's a bad habit that our trombone section has got into recently,
terrible,
to be honest with you.
Terrible.
But we didn't do it the last rehearsal, I noticed, so we're trying to cut that one out.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it, when a band doesn't stop with a conductor, because, one, it tells you they're not looking or paying attention.
Yeah.
It also robs you of rehearsal opportunity, because if you want to look at the particular bar you've stopped in, but by the time people stop, you've got a choice of about 5 different bars.
Yeah.
It's something that it can be frustrating, can't it, the pace of rehearsal.
I suppose he would have got shot in the army, wouldn't he, doing that?
We had various forms of punishment.
I bet you did.
So talking about various forms of punishment, I suppose, what are you up to now then? So,
well, on a weekly basis, I look after Plymouth City Brass Academy Band, which is really a training band, mostly young people, some adults that have come to learning later in life, very often because their kids are learning. And, we're on a bit of a progressive curve at the moment. The band is going to enter the regional qualifiers this year for the first time ever.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's great.
So it's good. It's bucking the trend, whereas, a lot of bands are going to the wall. In effect, we formed a new band. And I like that because what I find, it doesn't bump into the adjudication I do, because I enjoy the adjudication. And it leaves me free to do workshops when bands ask me to do workshops. This time of year, rather, I tend to be quite busy, sort of hacking around the country, doing a day's workshop at the weekend or a long evening rehearsal with bands. It's a night. I enjoy doing that because you don't get sucked into the internal politics of a band. You can be honest and know you're not going to be there the following week to reap the repercussions of that.
Yeah.
And I think it can be helpful for any brass band to have a guest conductor in every now and then and do some work on a test piece.
Absolutely, it seems to work everywhere, doesn't it, that one?
So your band that's going to the regionals, which region will it be in? I presume, what section will it be, I suppose?
Yeah, it'll be the Southwest at the Torquay Riviera Centre. Big contest. I think there's about 80, 90 bands there across the whole weekend. And of course, we'll be going in at the fourth section, which is, I think, in many ways, one of the hardest sections to win. It's certainly hard to get out of it.
Oh, yeah, always is that one. Yeah. Because you always have a few ringer bands, don't you, of sort of usually older, better players who've come together. They've been dragged together. And then you get some more like your band where there's a mix of players, and also you usually end up with one from the sort of section above the third section coming down, don't you? And usually
that can often happen.
Yeah,
it can often happen. I mean, some of the bands that sort of come down through the sections remain very strong, don't they?
Yes,
I think that happens a lot between championship and first section.
It did for the Welsh area. Yeah. It did recently for the Welsh area. I remember Norfolk band dropping down to the first section, and of course they won it by a mile the next year and went straight back up again. So
it's difficult.
That can happen.
Yeah. It's difficult, like you said, isn't it?
I mean, sadly for some bands, a demotion can sort of mean they go into free fall. I've seen that happen as well.
Yeah.
A band go from first section to fourth section in the space of a few years. Once you start losing players because they want to play in a better band.
Yes.
It's a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is what makes brass band contesting so intriguing and cutthroat to a degree.
Yeah.
We do take it very, very seriously, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. And I suppose what I was going to say is, we wish you luck with that. Obviously, you're conducting, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good year to do it. It's an old test piece, Indian Summer.
Yeah, it's been around for ages. It's lovely, isn't it? I remember it. It's one of my first, I think.
I mean, it's a fantastic little piece. It's well constructed. It's well written. But there's a lot of music in it.
Yeah.
It's not the sort of piece you just want to play top left to bottom right, just as a row of notes. There's a lot that can be done with it. And I think it's a good choice for fourth section bands because hopefully by taking away some of the technical difficulty, it will give a fourth section band the opportunity to play in tune and make a good sound. Because, very often if players are struggling technically, the first thing that goes is the quality of your sound and your tuning and intonation. It's just too much to think about all at once, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you got quite a few youngsters in the band, or is it, like you said, is a good mix?
I would say 3/4 of the band is probably under 16.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
So I mean, certainly there's no one on the front row over the age of 16.
Wow, that's brilliant, that.
I mean, so it's all progressing well. The trouble is, I look at a couple of years down the line and I know I'm going to lose these young people as they go off to university and all this kind of thing.
That's what happens, isn't it?
All about.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We've got a little training band as well. So hopefully by then, some of those players will have progressed into the academy band.
But that's really good.
All being well. Yes, it's a nice setup. It's a nice setup and nice people as well.
And not 7 pages of errata either, though.
There is. I mean.
Section 3, wasn't it? I think.
I raise my eyebrows at some of the errata because some of them are.
I know.
Very, very obvious, aren't they?
Yes.
For example, why would your second baritone be playing a different dynamic to your first baritone?
Yeah, all them crazy things.
Things like that.
Yeah.
There's a few wrong notes in Indian Summer if you look. I've cleaned up some of the chords there.
It's
unintentional patches.
It's a lovely piece to listen to, though, as well, isn't it? It's just nice to listen to.
It is. And it is what it is. I mean, I've said to the young people in the band, if you want to get to grips with the style, on a Sunday afternoon, switch on the telly and watch all the old westerns from the 50s and 60s, because it's very much a pastiche of that music.
Yeah, Doug constantly goes on about that because he's a lot older than us, you see.
To be honest with you, Paul,
he's older than most people, isn't he, really? Yeah.
I'll let him get away with that one. But to be honest, I think a lot of people think the Brass Monkeys are related to a Western, the good, the bad and the ugly, you know.
I'll let you figure out which one I am.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Doug.
So, one thing I want to ask you as well, I'm taking over Doug's questions here because I'm just intrigued. I'm just replying to all your answers, really. Is the Whit Friday marches, because you adjudicate for there, don't you?
I do, yeah. I've done Staley Bridge for the last few years.
Wow.
I mean, for me, it's it's everything that's great about brass banding.
Yeah,
it's grassroots banding. Certainly at Staley Bridge. What you hear, you can have a band like Foden's come through, and the playing is just absolutely exquisite. An amazing situation. To be sat in a car park in the rain, listening to the best brass playing in the world.
Yeah.
But that can be then followed by a school youth band who nails Sladeburn or True and Trusty at forte fortissimo for start to finish, and it's just huge fun. You don't get that anywhere else.
It's typically British, though, isn't it? It's absolutely typically British. It epitomises brass bands, I think, in the country. We love it. We absolutely love it. We do. We go as much as we can. The band that we're in.
It's a great thing when you think that there's no charge involved, is there? Anyone can go along and listen. As you say, you've got the top brass bands in the country.
Yeah. I mean, it's powerful music making. And again, the music that you hear, I mean, you take a piece like Punchinello, it's one of the first things I played in a brass band. It's a proper little miniature masterpiece. I think it's about 110 years old this year.
Is it really?
But, it's full of energy, it's full of style, full of panache. It's got everything in it. It shows you how to modulate, how to use motifs, sequences, how to structure a march. It's just absolutely fantastic. A little masterpiece that lasts no more than 5 minutes. It's absolutely wonderful.
We know what to play now.
we were wondering.
Thanks for the tip. Yeah, and in the third bar, we're going to play an F sharp. Oh no. Yeah, all good stuff. Yeah.
So I suppose leading on from that, you're very busy then, I would imagine, with all the stuff you're doing and your workshops and things.
Yeah. Yeah, especially this time of year, I wouldn't change it. But it's good busy. I mean, we all appreciate that, don't we? There's bad busy and there's good busy.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying yourself, it's good busy, and it doesn't really matter how far you drive and what time of night you get home. If you've enjoyed yourself and if you feel like you've achieved something.
Absolutely.
And it's keeping that passion burning, isn't it? I suppose.
It is. I mean, I'm hoping I've got a few years left in me yet.
Yeah, I think we're all the same on that one. I mean, like Doug said at the very beginning before, the reason why we started this is to try and get the brass band movement going again, and try and promote different things, really. So.
Yeah, I mean, we need young people.
Yeah, we do.
But there's so much now to distract young people. Different pressures that I think they feel pressure in a different way, certainly that I did when I was in my early teens. If I'm honest, I didn't take my education seriously. But young people do now. They're put under immense pressure to succeed at school. So if you're trying to run a brass band around GCSEs and A levels and mock exams, you've got to accept you may not see some of these young people at rehearsals for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
It's
very difficult.
I suppose with the band that you just said you've got, if there's a lot of youngsters, they're going to be hitting that, aren't they? I suppose, really.
Yeah.
Yes. We just have to work around it. What we find does work well for us. I mean, we start rehearsing at 6:15. and people seem to like that because it means they can, get home, still have a bit of an evening, and sort of work their life around it. And it works well for a lot of people, and it helps the social side as well. If we've got parents and guardians dropping young people off, I mean, very often they'll go and have a coffee somewhere or sit in the back room and have a chat. So it adds that sort of sense of community to the band as well.
That's all good.
Yeah,
well, let's hope it continues. Yeah.
Well, let's hope so.
I'd just like to add another one in, Paul. It doesn't surprise me at all that you're obviously in great demand and busy, because I've noticed that you've got an awful lot of letters after your name these days. And I actually said to the other two, the last time I saw that many letters, I was playing Scrabble, So where have they all come from? I mean, I know they're all musical.
Well, I mean, partly, when I came to Nella Hall on the bandmaster course, it was affiliated with a university, and we got a Bachelor of Arts degree in music, so a BA. So, of course, that meant then if you were competing for promotion, it was a level playing field because everyone had a BA. So it almost became a non-thing. So I thought I ought to do some other stuff. So, one up from a BA was a master's, so I did that. And then I think it's just useful sometimes. It's very grounding to, perhaps think, well, actually, let's have someone else listen to me playing and see what they think. Let's have someone else look at my conducting and see what they think.
Yeah.
So you go for these qualifications, and all being well, you pick them up. They were more of a method for me, really, of seeing where you are. Could you be any better? But qualifications are useful to have. It's the sort of first thing that people look at on a CV, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you say, if it's a level playing field, everybody's got that, or you need that to progress the next step. As you say, you want to be one step ahead of the pack, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Certainly back to the days of my youth, not everyone had a degree. It was quite a rare and wonderful thing.
That's true.
There wasn't many going through that system.
Yeah, so that many more people have them now. So you've got to do something else, haven't you? And again, it's all experience, isn't it?
Yes.
You go and stand in front of a different ensemble to do a conducting diploma. Because you don't have the rapport with that group, so you've got to work in a different way, and it becomes so much harder.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, I need to ask you. You've got to dish some dirt on Doug.
I think I can help there really a little bit. But when we shared a room together for those years, Paul, I don't know whether you remember at all, but it was the 1st Royal Tank Regiment. We shared a room, and all I'll say is basically my wife at times does say, "You're snoring, Doug," and I wasn't aware that I even did that. I don't know whether you could comment on that at all.
Yes, the one I remember, the one I do remember, I think it was in Germany. We'd not gone anywhere further than Germany, but it was on a German army barracks. And of course, back then, the German army was a conscript army, so they didn't look after them very well. So you used to sleep in these huge rooms that would, hold 20 or 30 blokes with beds all around the edges of the room. And I remember Doug being a heavy sleeper, snoring rather loudly one night. 6 of us picked up his bed with him in it, moved it out into the corridor and closed the door. where he then proceeded to wake up everyone in all the other rooms up and down the corridor. And we were asked to move him back in. I remember that vividly. Yeah, big stone buildings, so it really reverberated around. It was a good acoustic.
What I've said to the other two as well, Paul, to be honest with you, is that I think in some way I might have helped you on your musical journey, and certainly all of the great things that you've achieved with the military, because you must have been the only one in the military that could survive on 2 hours sleep a night, you know.
What's that? Yeah, it's a good skill to have, surviving on little sleep. And
certainly is.
The bandmaster's course at Mellor Hall, you didn't get a lot of sleep for the first year. It was designed that way. But yeah, well, I'm told that we really only need 3 hours a night. I don't know how much truth there is in that. You can survive on it for a while, but not indefinitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you.
It has.
And if we can help with anything you want promoting wise, just give us a tinkle. And if you know anyone else who would like to maybe give us a chat, in your circles of banding, you might know somebody who might want to give the Brass Monkeys a chat. It'd be great. And
I think, certainly, I think it'd be worth speaking to the Association of Brass Band Adjudicators. I'm sure there's plenty of other people involved with that would like to talk to you.
That's a good idea.
Help get the message out there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll try and tap into that.
We might be able to get hold of the chairman again.
Yeah, because
Brett.
We did have Brett on here as well, so maybe that's the way. Brett Baker.
And there's a fine trombonist and a fine musician, certainly.
Right. Anyway, thanks for tonight. We'll see you now. See you. No, but seriously, Paul, it's been great to talk to you. And if we catch up here with you anywhere in the regionals, I'm sure Doug will buy you a pint.
Yeah, well, I was going just at the very end. I was just going to say to Paul, are you planning on going to the Albert Hall this year?
Not really got any plans to yet as such. I mean, I went last year. Which I don't normally go if I've not got a vested interest in a particular band that's playing. But I was almost bullied last year into going by my good lady, because if I'm adjudicating, she always comes along.
Okay.
So she said and of course she always goes to listen to the championship section, and I did adjudicate the championship section at one of the areas last year. So she said, look, I've listened to all these bands qualify, so I'd really like to go and see how they do in the finals.
Nice. Yeah, good.
That's good, isn't it?
So that is why we went. And it's a fantastic day. It's, an event like that needs to be in the Albert Hall. But, if there's a negative, as we've already discussed tonight, sort of looking around the Albert Hall that day, as a movement, we are getting older.
Yeah.
I didn't see the amount of young people there listening and taking part that I would have liked to have seen, which is worrying. Even at that elite level, we're not attracting enough young people.
No, you're right. That's something we need to work on, isn't it?
Definitely.
So
yes,
I think hopefully the Monkeys are trying to get there, and maybe we could do some interviewing and see where we can go from. So if you do manage to go, hunt us out.
It's a great thing you're doing, isn't it? It really is. Yeah.
Well, like I said, thank you again, and it's been great to talk to you, and maybe we catch up another time at some stage, because I'm sure we could talk all night about Doug's indiscretions.
Indeed. Well, all being well, I might see you at the finals this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you very much.
That would be great.
Thank you very much.
It would. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye now.
Cheers, then.
Bye. So, guys, what do you think of that?
Excellent. Yeah, really good interview there.
I knew it would be a good one. As I have said to you lads before, when I was in the army band, Paul really looked after me. he's no doubt been looking after some major bands since then, you know.
Well, I was quite interested. He was talking about his band that he's taken to the regionals, and that sounds good with all those youngsters, doesn't it?
Yes, good luck to him with that.
So that's it for today. Join us again in a couple of weeks. We'll have something else for you. So it's a bye from me.
And a bye from me.
And goodbye from Doug.